I looked at the various cases, granting mercy, discovering that the terrible trauma that everyone's going through. And I had a little bit of a Pritzker joke. I was going to talk about Pritzker and size, but when I talk about Pritzker, I get angry because he's not letting us do the job. So I'm not going to tell my Pritzker joke. They have a very cute little joke, you know. Some speechwriter wrote some joke about his weight, but I would never want to talk about his weight. I don't talk about people being fat. I refuse to talk about the fact that he's a fat slob. I don't mention it.
What's up, y'all? Gerald here, creator of Gospel Chops and your host for this YouTube channel, back with another video. Now, y'all, it is so refreshing to have a president who speaks his mind, who speaks from the heart, who speaks off the cuff. A president who is transparent and honest in what he feels and what he believes. I'm not saying it's always right, but it's always authentic. And there's something to be said for that. President Trump took to the stage to pardon a turkey this week of Thanksgiving, and he let loose on Governor Pritzker of Chicago. And he said, I'm not going to tell you the joke I had prepared. I was going to rip this dude and tell you about how fat he was. And it was a nice little joke, but I'm not going to tell it because I refuse to stand here and tell you that he's a fat slob. I won't say it. I said, oh, Mr. President, how Donald Trump is that? How Trumpian is that? And y'all, these people out here, especially on the left, I can imagine that Governor Pritzker was somewhere punching the air because these liberals can't take it. They were introduced to a certain ideology under the brown guy, Barack Hussein Obama, who told them they could be whoever they wanted to be, whatever they wanted to be. And if someone told him that they weren't a pink polka dot unicorn, then that person was bad for telling you you're not who you believe you are. We saw that ideology exacerbated and expanded under one Joe Robinette Biden. And got y'all all crazy and in your feelings because y'all have attached yourself to some of this weirdness to the point now where you blaming Donald Trump for some of your childhood scars. Your daddy called you a little Miss Piggy. Well, maybe you were a little fat girl to him. Maybe you were a little piggy to him. Why are you blaming the president for your issues, for your childhood scars? Girl, you need to get somewhere and heal. But liberals don't believe in healing. They believe in making you bend to their demands because that's what they've been taught under liberal ideologies. Well, y'all, we got a president who ain't falling for it. If you're fat, he gonna call you fat. If you're piggy, he gonna call you piggy. And listen, I'm gonna show you this compilation of these crazy liberal whitey whites showing out on the internet. Because that's what they did. They went to the internet and made videos of this content for all of us to compile and revel at and say, y'all weird. But fear not. If you a crazy, whitey white, left-wing liberal woman with piercings all in her face, there's probably some blackety black man out there who would be honored to have you on his arm and take you to the cookout and show you around. It's just what America is today. Be proud, little piggies. I hope y'all enjoy this content as much as I did.
The reasons I hate Donald Trump so much is because he reminds me so much of my own dad. My dad 100% would have said, quiet piggy. 100% quiet piggy to his sisters, to his mom, to my mom, to me, to my sister. He loves berating people, mocking people. It is just I become very furious thinking about it and thinking about him and all of his words that are continuously my inner dialogue. Even at 41 years old, I hear it. And every time I hear Donald Trump, I'm like, wow, that man reminds me, or that person, human, sort of something. I don't know what we're considering Donald Trump right now, or at all. But he reminds me so much of my dad. And I just feel like, man, these men love to shush women. They want them to be quiet. They want them to look a certain way. And it's just appalling and disgusting. And I kind of over it.
Imagine someone saying quiet piggy to your kid, to your daughter, to your mom, to your auntie. The fuck. Listen, no shade to the CBS reporter. She probably really did need her job. But listen, I am not going to be ashamed to admit anyone says quiet piggy to me or to anybody in my vicinity, I'm catching a felony. I am. I'm catching a felony, probably multiple. I'm going to prison. Oh my God, I'm so going to prison. I'm going to love it too. I'm going to love every single minute of it because no one is ever going to look at me and say quiet piggy without paying the price.
I still don't understand how he's not in jail. Like, what the? Like, how do you call for the hanging of the opposite political party and you're not immediately put in jail? Like, I just don't understand. Like, no, that's the T word. Like, how is he not in jail? Make it make sense. Like, if it were any other president, they would be immediately taken to jail and tried for treason. How are we not angry as an American society? Like, why are we not angrier than this? Like, it's taken 10 months. Why are we not angrier than this?
There's an entire walkway, but for some reason, people need to walk a foot away from me.
Be a hot take, but I genuinely think, not even for political reasons, because we all know that Elon Musk is trash, right? But I think that all Cybertrucks should be banned from existence simply for the fact that they are an assault on the eyeballs and the senses. They are the zit of humanity. They are the type of zit that you get on your wedding day morning that you cannot get to go away. One of those huge honkers you get on your face. They should be banned. That's my hot take.
I just walked into the locker room and I heard this dude talking to his buddy. He goes, I hate all women. I will slit their goddamn throats and murder all of them. I looked at his buddy and go, do you know this psycho? And he looked at me appalled and he's like, he's just venting, man. That's not how normal people vent. Casual locker room talk. Mind you, these guys are like double my age, well into their 40s. And your buddy's too spineless to even say, hey, that's not normal. That's not normal behavior. That's not a normal way to vent, to express your emotions and frustration. We live alongside spineless psychos. And I don't want to hear y'all ever talk down on other cultures and talk about how violent other cultures are. Focus on your goddamn selves. Get your own straight. That's not normal to say. Mind you, this isn't the first time I've heard somebody say this in the same damn locker room. A few months ago, I heard this dude go, I can't just wait to start shooting people, laying waste to people in the streets. That's not normal to say. You guys are psychos.